when you have a top 3 closer in the sport gone, it's very troublesome for this team. They're in a transition period right now. And for me, they're not making the playoffs. Let's get to the Devin Williams injury, because this one, news-wise, came in like an hour or two after the Dylan Cease trade. So I feel like it got overshadowed. But this is a massive injury loss, not only for the Brewers, but for a guy who's getting close to free agency. He's 2 seasons away. Yes, not after this year, but
yes,
the year after that. And he's been one of the best relievers in our sport for years now. Devin's expected to miss 3 months with 2 stress fractures in his back. That's a problem.
That's tough.
And there's some more details from Passan. Visited a back specialist, diagnosed fractures on both sides of the vertebra. He will be shut down for 6 weeks, rehab for another 6, and then the doc expressed confidence that he would make a full recovery. Oof. I mean, let's start with the player. This is a top, 5 reliever in our sport who's got the airbender. Top 3 reliever. Changeup is insane. It's off the charts. He's reliable. And this is not a normal injury.
No, I've had, I'm not trying to compare, but my back, I had that L4, L5. Now there's no, everybody I think has it. And there's no spongy tissue in between, which hurts. I get it, but it's nothing like this. It's broken, right? Fractured? I mean,
stress fracture.
Okay.
So the way it was explained.
All right, explain it to me.
Was technically it's a small fracture inside the bone. That's painful.
Very.
People have had shin splints, supposedly. That's what is similar in the bone. It's not an actual break, but if it gets worse, it could the bone could break.
Crack inside the bone that can break the entire bone.
Yes.
And he's had this issue going back to last year. September, he was pitching hurt and shows up to spring training, never got better. They're trying to fix it. And eventually they're like, we got to shut you down for a little bit.
This is one you take your time. You take as much time as you need, because you don't want him coming back too early. All of a sudden they're in a playoff push or whatever. Oh, we need you back. No.
Yeah, he's not jumping into the shallow end of the pool.
You are not. Yeah.
You got to be ready to swim, because he's coming in and it's.
Yeah. And after 3 months, he's still got another month to go to work back, progress, everything else.
They're doing the total.
They're doing the total.
Oh, they did total. So they're saying
6.
rehab, including throwing and everything else.
Yeah.
I thought rehab meant just working the back, building the muscles behind it and everything else. So.
6 weeks of no throwing.
Gotcha.
No activity is how I understand it. So it's not like, I broke a wrist or something, I can still lift my legs, stay in shape. No activity is how I understood it.
Okay.
And if a pitcher shuts down, think about the fact, he shuts down in October, might not pitch again till the end of November, beginning of December. So he's basically restarting his entire season in the sense of his throwing program.
Oof. No lifting, nothing no running, nothing
that's
like
tough.
that. Yeah.
That's tough.
That's a month and a half of chill.
Our producer had the same injury, Claudia. She said, I was told when I was a runner, if I kept running on it by a bone, literally it could split open as you're running. So it's pretty serious.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's not one you hear, right? It's not an injury you hear very frequently.
No, especially that low in your lower back. People have had everybody's had lower back pain. You kind of, you throw some icy hot on it.
Sure.
You get stretched,
That's
you
all
do
I
this
did.
and that, and you're like, okay, I can gut through it. Especially him. He's coming in, his music is playing, adrenaline pumping. He's ready to go, and everyone talks about his changeup. He'll still run it up there 97, 98.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the changeup is obnoxious. It's off the charts. And so he's doing everything full tilt. I guess that's how you get, stress fracture like this. I obviously don't know.
Brewers now.
Tough. That shortens the options that Pat Murphy has.
Yeah. There are some other good ones. The Brewers have done a really nice job of putting bullpens together. There are some teams that thrive in that department. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee. There are other teams that are often a mess in that department. The Brewers are on the positive side. Piamps was really good for most of last year. McGill last year was awesome. Those are probably the 2 top guys that would fill in to close. But then you lose one of those guys in your high leverage 7th, 8th inning spots. You just thin out your bullpen. That's all. And that sucks because they're going to have to win on the margins a little bit more this year than they have in the past. You're not going to have starting pitcher shove city like you've had in the past. It's Freddie P, and then we have question marks where some days you're going to be like, damn, we're down 5-1 heading into the 8th, like even last year when, they were missing Woody for a good amount of time, still have Corbin and Freddie going the whole year. The big 3 is down to 1. So when you have a top 3 closer in the sport gone, it's very troublesome for this team. They're in a transition period right now. And for me, they're not making the playoffs.
Because of this injury? Or you already had that as the case?
I think when I was putting my predictions together, already leaving them out, this makes me feel even more comfortable about that. I think the Reds are a better team. I think the Cubs are probably a better team. It's close. I think the Cardinals are pretty close, although I'm kind of concerned about them. So there's going to be 1 or 2 teams in the NL Central where you're like, damn, they were not that good. And Milwaukee might be going through that transition period right now. We're looking at their bullpen.
As we've said every year for the last 7 years, I think.
I don't always say that.
Okay, not we. As the people who predict things said the last 7 years, they have gone over the prediction of wins per season. And that's because this coaching staff, Chris Hook, Pat Murphy, with the help of Craig, he was helping Craig Counsell this whole time. The entire front office, they move guys along and they call them up and they say, this is what you're good at. And when you come up to the big leagues, this is what we want you to do. If you don't do well, we're going to send you back down because this person is ready too. So it kind of lets everybody know where they sit. And then when they get there, they put them in a situation to succeed. And so I think they'll be able to handle filling the void of Piamps going to the closer role, Abner Uribe going to the closer role. But I don't know that they're going to fill the void with those guys going into the closer role because you're talking about filling the void of a top 3 reliever in the game and a bona fide Cy Young winning ace going out of the rotation. So Colin Ray and Wade Miley are going to have success against most of the Cubs lineup, are going to have success against most of the Pirates lineup. But boy, the Reds are going to be tough. I think it's the Reds division this year, and that is so happy for the Todd Frazier.
I agree totally, and we'll be there to watch them every once in a while. So for me, Reds, it's their time. It's your time, boys. It's go time. And it's sad to say because I don't want anybody injured or anything else, but they do have the pieces, and you just gotta figure it out. Can't fold at the end there. Have to ride that wave and put the pedal to the metal.
Ride the wave.
Hey everybody, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.